20 years old and I already feel like I've spent so much of my life preparing for a future instead of living a life that I actually have. People tell you you're supposed to spend your 20s sacrificing, working hard, trying to save everything so you can have a better life in the future. But how much of my life am I supposed to give away before I can enjoy myself? I didn't fully question it until I walked away from something that was one of the most responsible decisions I've ever made. I'm not saying that you shouldn't work or you shouldn't save money or care in any type of way for your future. I still want stability, but I don't believe in sacrificing everything now for something that I may not have in the future. I stopped living with my parents when I was 16 years old. I'm 20 now. I have my own apartment. I have bills. I support myself pretty much 100% on my own. I feel so much older than I actually am, and it's like I haven't had any time to be carefree or to enjoy myself. I have spent so much time all of these last like 4 years just holding out until I get to reach XYZ. When XYZ happens and I can spend more money, then I can enjoy my life. I actually ended up applying to nursing school and actually getting into nursing school, and I decided not to go because like I said, I live alone. I have an apartment, I have bills, I have a car, I have things that I have to take care of and pay for, and going to nursing school right now is just not feasible. On top of me being disabled, I can't work full time. I would have to work more than I'm already working now to go to school, so I'll be working more and going to school full time, and it's just not gonna work. So I decided not to go right now. I don't know if I will go back, but I had to make that decision because I know where that's gonna put me if I put myself in that situation where I'm working a lot more than I am now and also in school on top of that. I already know where that road leads. I've already burnt myself out before and lost my apartment and lost my job and everything like that. And I've already done that. I've already been there, and I don't want to go back there. And there are real consequences to that decision. Like, I'm just working the job that I have now, and I have to listen to my family, and people ask me, oh, what are you gonna do? When are you going back to school? I really want you to go back to school. You really need to do this. You don't want to flip burgers your whole life and stuff like that. I have to hear that, and I have to deal with that constantly. Almost every time I talk to my family, that's what's coming up. My dog is drinking water. So, and I just think to myself, like, I'm working, I am a cook, that's what I do. I'm a cook part-time, and I live in Section 8. It is what it is. That's what the fuck I'm doing because I'm disabled and I don't have any help from my family and shit. So it is what it is. I make enough money to pay my fucking bills, and that's what I'm doing. That grind mentality gets so far deep ingrained into your head, like you don't even want to buy any fast food. Like, you can't do simple things or spend small amounts of money on yourself without feeling guilty and shame and all of that every single time. Even if you don't agree with the grind mentality, it's still, you still have those thoughts in your head, or maybe the voice of your parents or your peers or whoever, you know, telling you that you should be saving money, you should be working harder, you shouldn't be spending that much money on things that aren't necessary. Whatever the case may be, it gets so far stuck in there that every time you spend money, that's what your mind is telling you, that's what you're thinking about. Once I get to this pay raise, or once I start working in this career and I finish school, and once I move out, and once I have a new car, or whatever the case may be, then I can spend more money on myself, then I can enjoy myself more. But there is always going to be another bill. It does not end. There is always going to be another milestone that you want to get to. There will always be more money that you can save. There will always be something else you can do before you can spend money on yourself. I have been telling myself that for the past 4 years, and the only reason I broke out of that is because I decided not to go to nursing school. That was the last thing that was like, once I get out of school, then I can spend more money on myself. But it's like, I'm not going anymore, so this is just my life until further notice. What am I gonna do? I'm not going to not enjoy myself at all until somehow I just end up in a career You know what I mean? I don't want to completely ignore the reality of needing money unless you just have family that's going to pay for everything. You do have to have money from somewhere. I'm not even going to say you have to have a job, but you can't support yourself without money. And I know that. I'm not saying just don't do anything and don't have any money, you know, unless you're in a position where you can do that. I wish, you know, I could just, you know, stay at home and not have any money and not have to work or anything. There needs to be some type of balance. There needs to be some type of give and take. You cannot sacrifice everything. It is unrealistic to save every single dollar that doesn't go to your bills. It is unrealistic to work 50, 60 hours a week or even full time for, you know, some people that have more limitations. It is completely unrealistic to set those super high expectations for yourself and expect yourself to meet those goals and beat yourself up for it when you don't, because it's unrealistic. I am refusing to build my identity around my work. I am refusing to choose a career solely because of financial gain and the security of it. I am refusing to treat exhaustion as a sign that I need to work harder and that I'm not disciplined and I'm lazy. I am refusing to postpone every single enjoyable experience. I am refusing to believe that suffering is somehow a sign of success and discipline. I am refusing to let other people's definition of success dictate what I do with my life. Instead of all that stuff, I'm trying to find work that is sustainable for me and put myself in a position where I don't have to work myself to death to sustain my life. Enough money to secure my future and have some money in my savings account and make sure all my bills are paid and that I can still spend money on things that I enjoy, because that's important. You cannot have a life with absolutely no enjoyment. It's not sustainable. Making time for the things that I enjoy, making sure I have enough energy for the things that I enjoy. That's why I don't work more than I work. I work 3 to 4 days a week, and that's all I'm gonna do. Even though I would like to have more money, but I also need the time and the energy to do other things outside of my work. Now, other people, they may be able to work full time and still feel like they have time and energy for other things, but because of me and my disability, that's not the situation for me. I want to have time to spend with my dogs, try to have some type of social relationships, time to play the game. I want a calm life that is not super impressive, but it's my life and I enjoy it. You know, maybe I don't need the most successful, you know, version of my life. Maybe I just want a life that I can survive and enjoy along the way. I don't know exactly what my future or my career will look like, but I know that I don't want to spend my 20s sacrificing for a life that I may not have or that I may not enjoy. I don't want to get 30 and think I hate where I am now and I didn't do anything to enjoy my 20s. My future matters, but the person sacrificing to get there matters too. I'm not deciding between responsibility and irresponsibility. I'm finding a way to protect my future while not abandoning myself that has to live through the present. George wants to say bye.